I want everyone to imagine this. You've just graduated high school, you feel super accomplished with yourself, you're super happy for yourself, college right around the corner, you're super excited, and then 6 months later pass, you're really in the waters of college and you just feel this bone crushing stress. And you're just trying to balance school and work and relationships and homework, and it's just so overwhelming, and you're thinking to yourself, is this really what I want to do the next 4 years? Like, is this really worth it? And now a lot of you are probably thinking, oh, I don't have to imagine that. I'm living that. And a lot of you are right. And a lot of you have felt this way, and a lot of college students have felt this way. And I think I stand for everyone when I say that sometimes life just feels impossible to manage when it gets this busy. Today, I want to share with everyone how to manage your time better, but more specifically, how to manage your time better in a healthy work/school relationship. So the steps that I take to do this are first making lists, and then from said lists making a schedule, and lastly using those schedules to delegate how much I'm working myself and making sure that I'm not overworking myself. So to begin, I always choose making lists, and this is because I think of it as like an essay or like an essay prompt where I need to do a rough draft first before I do my final draft, and for me, these rough drafts are my lists. And it doesn't have to be just one list, or it could be multiple lists, whatever helps you. But for me, I feel like making a general list helps best, and then dividing into smaller categories is what I normally do. And for me, this is an example of the smaller category list that I made for my general list. And this is just homework that I have this week and what I had to do. And if you look, I have everything numbered, and that's what I'll be doing first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. And then I have the days of the week that I wanted to do it on as well. And that's just an example of a small list that I use for myself or that I'm using for this week to try to do my homework. And I also think that making lists just helps to get ourselves to do what we have to do, and it really just eases up the pressure. And according to Dave McKenna's The Magic of Making Lists, he says that when we write things down that we'd like to be doing, it helps us actually start doing them. So in turn, you've already started the process of eliminating your procrastination, which I think is already a great step. And once you have these lists, I believe that you should be making your schedule, or like I used in the example earlier, your final draft from your skeleton. And I think that making a schedule really helps myself at least, but I think it could be beneficial to everyone. And by encouraging yourself to make a weekly or daily schedule, you eliminate the amount of stress that you normally have on a day-to-day basis, just because you feel so overwhelmed with stuff to do. And I think in turn, that actually gives you more energy to do stuff because you feel less strained, and it allows you to waste less time. And on the topic of wasting less time, I know some people might feel that, making a list is gonna take up so much time, like I don't have time to make a schedule. But in reality, it's the opposite. You should be making time to make a schedule because it's gonna help to open up the rest of your week, because you're not gonna be like scrambling to try to find time to do stuff. You already have a set time or a set day that you're gonna do your stuff. And it just allows you to see how much you really have space for in a week. And once you have everything planned out, you'll find it come that some days are a lot harder than others, and some days are going to be a lot easier than others. So it's important to be realistic about how much you can handle, and also how much you have time for. So one thing that I always keep on telling myself is just don't overdo it. There's always tomorrow, which really is the case, especially once you have your schedule planned out. So yesterday I didn't, if you look on the bottom of my list, you see that I have math homework for Thursday. I ended up staying late at work, and I couldn't do that math homework. And I really wasn't stressing about it, because I was like, you know what, like tomorrow I'm not going into work till later. I'm gonna have more time. Like I was just gonna use the time to relax, but I mean I have more time, so I might as well. I don't need to stress about not finishing my math homework from yesterday. I can just move it to tomorrow. And that's kind of the mentality that I feel like you need to have. That way you're not overworking yourself and you're not overstressing yourself, because sometimes you just won't have time for everything in a day. And I think it's important to not overstress that. And also, some things are just out of your control. Like I said, when I stayed later at work, they asked me to stay later. Like, things happen, you know? And sometimes you just got to realize that either you don't have time for it, or sometimes you might not just be able to handle all that in a day. So you might have to move things around. And lastly, overworking yourself overall just leads to exhaustion, and it's going to damage your own life and maybe even your relationship with others. And if you read Cleveland Health Clinic's article of 5 side effects of working too much, they'll tell you that if you're constantly overworking yourself, you're putting yourself at a number of risks, including damaged relationships, increased stress, brain fog, and even the possibility of having a stroke. And I know a lot of these seem like extreme to you, and they are more extreme. However, they're still very serious and to be taken into consideration of how when you're overworking yourself, you should be taking these things into consideration because they are serious and they can really affect you and your life. So throughout today's speech, I have taught everyone to the best of my abilities how to manage your time better while also eliminating procrastination by going over my steps and my process, which once again was to make a list or make lists. And from those lists, you then make a schedule of on your day-to-day. If you want to do a day-to-day schedule or a weekly schedule, it's all up to you. And then from that schedule, you use it to make sure that you're not overworking yourself and just reminding yourself that don't overthink it. There's always tomorrow. And I know a lot of people are going to listen to this speech and they're going to think that, oh, I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine right now. Like I don't need to listen to that. But I just want to remind everyone of the health effects that I mentioned earlier, and that they should very much be taken into consideration when you're overworking yourself. Thank you, guys.